got me my nails as like a treat, right? And she was like, just get like the most basic thing, you know, it's a treat, okay? But I told the lady about it, and she's like, I'll give you a daisy on these fingers as a treat. And I was like, ah! So, I don't know what we want to get started with. I have a few things out already. I also kind of want to rate things, because I like rating things. I didn't have time to take a picture of everything and make a tier list of it. But I guess we'll just kind of, we'll just get kind of started with, I guess we'll start with my autograph book first. I love the color. Ah, thank you. I think she said it looks good with my skin tone. And as you can see, I'm pale as fuck. So, you know, I used to have, one of the, like, is this like, can I make the, am I supposed to do like an ASMR thing with this? Like do a little, like a, where's the mic? Boop, boop, boop. Like a, ooh, like a tappy tappy. I don't know. It is kind of fun now that I have long nails. I can be like, that's so fun. Okay, I'm not used to being able to do that shit. I'm into it. But I used to have, let me see if I can like do this. There's like wires and shit about. So let me actually unplug my phone. By the way, what you're seeing on my desk, by the way, I cleaned my desk right before this because I was like, I don't want people to know how I live. Also because I left, personal identifying information on my desk, like, you know, because I do that. But quick, what's on my desk? Ooh. We've got the EB cheek mouse pad. I think I have a few more of these still. They're not officially for sale anymore, but if anyone wants one, like, let me know. And I can send you one. I also have my big ass knockoff Stanley cup. It's very large. It holds like 40 ounces of water. And like, I kind of wish I got a regular Stanley cup, cause you know, lead poisoning builds character, right? Adds a little bit of spice, you know. And then I also have my little idol pen light. It's really cool because at like idol concerts and stuff, they'll do like call and responses. I think the battery's dead, but you usually are able to like change colors. So like whatever your idol's color is, you change your pen light to that color, and that's kind of how you like cheer them on and stuff like that. And then these are just the remote for my LED lights, so it's nothing special. But anyway, I used to have the Disney Fairies autograph book, and then I lost it. I have a lot of stuff where I used to have a really big Disney collection. And then I lost a lot of stuff. Oh shit, my tits. Hold on, my tits. Tits. Yeah, I had a lot of stuff where like I kind of went through an edgy phase where my mom would ask me, she's like, be like, Evie, do you still want your Disney stuff? I'd be like, no, that's cringe, that's stupid. And now I'm like, I still had it, because I had autographs of like, let me make sure I can see the button because my fucking big ass, there we go. Because I had autographs from like all the fairies, I had autographs from like all sorts of characters that you can't meet anymore. So I wish I hadn't gotten rid of it. But welcome in everybody. I'm trying to like keep it so you can see my hands, but it's also like, I want to do this when I wave, but then I can't like show off my nails. So like, so this is my new autograph book. I wanted to get pictures developed to put in it from my last trip, but I just wasn't able to. I think I just forgot. What characters can't you meet anymore? So most of it was like, I think it was mostly like the Disney fairies. So you can still meet Tinkerbell. As you can see, Tinkerbell is the first one I have in here. I'm gonna do it backwards. Just because she's like the main fairy, but no one gives a shit about the other ones anymore, which is fucked up. However, in, I believe, Tokyo Disney, they are opening a new Pixie Hollow. So I don't know if they're gonna bring the fairies back for that, but it was like stuff like Silver Mist, Fawn, Rosetta, the Tinkerbell kind of characters from the movies. I don't know why my model stopped moving. They don't advertise the others these days. Yeah, they got rid of Disney fairies, like entirely. They got rid of the studio that made the movies. It was fucked up. I didn't know there was more than Tinkerbell. Yeah, so if you have Disney Plus, I think there's like 5 or 6 Disney fairy movies, and some are better than others. Me and David watch all of them, and David has opinions on all of them. Personally, I think the best ones are, I think Return of the Never Beast is the best one in my opinion. However, the OG Tinkerbell Disney fairy books went fucking hard, right? You had like, there was like a whole scene of a fairy like in, I think it was the Gail Carson Levine books. Yeah, there was a whole scene of a fucking fairy like, she cut her own wings off to save someone because the fairies can't swim because the water will get soaked up in their wings and they'll drown. So she was like, I don't give a fuck. And she cut off her own wings. It was the most baller thing on the fucking planet. Hi, Dad. Welcome in. But yeah, I love Disney fairies, and I'm hoping that them doing stuff in Disney Sea with Disney fairies means we might get like some sort of revival. I'm actually gonna put my keyboard away real quick, just because I also like had my like regular stuff filled with other stuff. I'm just gonna put this to the side and then put my keyboard down so I have more room on my desk itself. But I don't have a ton of stuff. It's not a very big collection because I just started collecting again a few years ago. Kind of as like, again, I used to have some more stuff, but then I was like, I'm edgy, I don't like Disney. It's like, no, you always come back to this, you stupid bitch. But yes, I do have poo ears. But anyway, so here's the Mouse Pass Pete Gaming. She's squishy, right? She's got chubby little cheeks, just like me. I might put some of them on sale again. I just have the merch store closed right now, so I think there's like a few left. So if anyone wants them, let me know and I'll reel up in the merch store. But yeah, I've got Tinkerbell. Let's see who's next. Next is Cinderella. Sure, hers is always like one of my favorite signatures. That's the one thing about Disney characters that I really, really like is I like the unique signatures. And you have to like, what I've heard from cast members is you have to like perfect it, right? Because it can't have like you meet one Cinderella and her signature looks different from another Cinderella. So like they'll train and just like do this over and over and over again. Which Razor Mouse is this? I have no idea actually. Hey David! What Razor Mouse do I have? We'll wait for him to come back. He'll have your answer. But welcome in. So we got, what Razor Mouse do I have? What is this?
You have the one with the side buttons, right?
Yeah.
That is the Naga Hex.
You heard the man. The Naga Hex. Apparently they don't sell it anymore. But I used to have a Steel Series mouse that I really liked. And then it ate shit. And I didn't feel like buying another mouse. And David was like, you can have this one. And I was like, okay. Actually, yeah. Hey, David. Can you come here when you have a second? We need your opinion on something. He loves giving his opinion. What is your opinion on the Disney fairy movies?
I have a range of opinions from they're pretty good to that was hot garbage.
Which one's the best and which one's the worst, do you think?
The best one is what's the name of the one where they've got there's the like big monster thing?
The Never Beast?
Yeah, that's the best one.
Goated opinion.
And the worst one is the one that is just the
It's the one with the British guy. Yup.
She just said the entire movie.
No,
and, like,
it's okay, David. This is a safe space. You could say it. David hates British people. That's what it is, actually. And you know what? No hate to anyone that's British in the chat, but I can't. Like, that's just his opinion.
Also, her dad is kind of shitty.
Her dad is kind of shitty.
He tries to make you like him and be like, oh, well, he's just working for her.
No, he's kind of abandoning her.
Kind of abandoning her.
Yeah, he's kind of the worst.
You're not going to gaslight me into feeling bad for the shitty name.
There's only one thing David hates more than British people, and it's British children. I can leave. No, we love you, Swiss. Swiss is the exception. We love, like, a few British people, and Swiss is one of them. We love Swiss. But yeah, the last Cinderella. This is Elena. So she was, this is a joke, by the way. We love British people. We love British people. It's okay. No one is perfect. Okay, everyone has flaws. Okay, it's okay to be British. It's just, you know, it's just something to work on and be conscious of. You know, you can always improve yourself. But anyway, this is Elena's. So Elena is actually technically, I don't think she technically is a Disney princess. What about French people? No comment. But Elena is, she actually had a Disney Junior show, which was actually kind of fucking goated. She had a show where basically she was like, it was kind of like, okay, her show on Disney Junior was like, I want you to combine like Dungeons and Dragons and Dora the Explorer. Like, she was a princess that did cool magic shit, and she taught you how to speak Spanish. Okay, she had a cute welcoming. Yeah, I remember the, oh my god, I remember watching her welcoming to the Magic Kingdom. I love the Disney princess, like the little welcoming parties they do for any of the Disney princesses. But one of my most, like, the cutest things to me is we were going up to meet her, and there was a family in line, and a bunch of them, like, didn't speak English, and she just, like, popped out perfect Spanish, which, like, makes sense. You know, her whole thing is teaching you how to, you know, speak Spanish, so it makes sense that the character actresses need to learn, like, know Spanish for it. But it was really cute because you could see, like, the little girl was, like, so, like, happy that someone was speaking to her in her native language, and it looks like her eyes just were, like, and it was just so cute because she was really, really happy, you know? So that was a really wholesome moment. So I have her, I have Tigger, which is like everyone else's. These might get hard to see because I think my black pen died. I wonder if I think I still have my pen somewhere. I had one of the little clicky the pens with like the crown on it and stuff like that. In Spain we have a saying that we always have to piss like in England. God damn it. I'm not surprised though, honestly. But yeah, some of them might get a little bit hard to see just because well actually I have a light. Hold on, let me see if my light will make this better or worse. Hold on. Oh, that's maybe too much. Okay, can we scale that? Can we scale that back a little bit? Maybe we'll make the light blue. What if it's like, ooh, there we go. That's a little bit better. Kinda, not really. But one of my favorite places to eat at Magic Kingdom is the Crystal Palace. And I showed you guys a little bit last stream. Crystal Palace is not the best food you will ever have in your life. However, you can get fancy beef and Kraft mac and cheese at the same place. And I think that's goated. And there's also unlimited ice cream. It's basically like a buffet. It's really expensive. Is it worth the money? No. Like, unless you are a die-hard Winnie the Pooh fan, which I kind of am, it's not worth the money. But you get to go eat your Kraft mac and cheese and your fucking, you know, prime rib at the same time, and you get to meet all the Winnie the Pooh characters. Yeah, Eeyore is there. Eeyore's so cute. David, like, David's not really a fan of meeting characters. Usually he's like, David kind of goes into dad mode when we go to Disney World, as in, like, he'll be, like, taking my pictures and stuff like that with the characters, but the one picture, or the one character he wanted a picture with was Eeyore. David loves Eeyore, so you get to meet Eeyore there. Yeah, and you can see, we have Eeyore's autograph, too. Is it worth the money is always a question at Disney. I mean, economically, the answer is usually no, but, like, if it makes you happy, who cares? Money's not real. It's Disney World. It's fine. Everything's fine. But here's Eeyore, and then this person, I have to, like, look, so I think this was meant to be Piglets, but my pen was also running out of ink, which was a little bit unfortunate. And then here's Pooh's. Pooh's is very basic, but that's okay. We love him anyway. Let me see. This one, Mary Poppins' signature was always one of my favorites. I like how she does the little heart on the end. Hers is very like, woo. I don't know why. Like, I love to kind of compare the signatures of the Disney princesses and stuff like that. How to do your sign? He doesn't have thumbs or hands. They kind of like in the costumes. They have like almost like it's like gloves, I guess. So sometimes they'll like grip the pen and like that. Although I know there were some characters that had stamps. Like Mr. and Mrs. Incredible had stamps. I don't know if I still have their autographs, but it might have been in my old book. This was, of course, Mickey Mouse, which is kind of like a classic. Again, it's kind of hard to, let me see. Yeah, it's a little hard to see just because of the red ink. There we go. And then I got a black pen again. So this is Goofy's. I feel like a lot of the like main characters are kind of basic. And then for some reason I went back to my red pen. Minnie Mouse's is really cute. Again, I love the hearts. I think it's super, super cute. I think this was... Is this Elsa's? I have to like look. I can't fucking read that. I'm gonna be real with you. I think that might be Elsa's. I cannot read that. Yeah, okay, that has to be Elsa's, because the next one is Anna. Anna's is, like, legible, and it's like, girl, Elsa's got fucking doctor handwriting. Like, I need Queen Elsa of Arendelle to sign me off my prescription of Prozac. Like, it's cute, and I like the little, like, the stars, like, it's meant to be, like, snowflakes. That's super cute, but, like, I had to, like, hold it up to my face for a moment. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, she got them so... Yeah, it's cute. I'm into it. This was Donald Duck. I like that he clarifies that he's the best. Kind of narcissistic, but again, he's kind of goated for that. I appreciate he knows his worth. And then Daisy Duck is also one of my favorites because she does a little flower that she has in her hair on the thingy. That is very, very cute to me. What's the next one? Princess Tiana is always my favorite princess to me. I've had a few people ask me because I've said this before, but Princess Tiana is my favorite princess at Disney World. Her autograph actually might be in here twice. But every time I meet her, the character actresses are just really nice, and she's my favorite because I grew up, my parents took me to New Orleans a lot as a kid, and my grandmother used to go there like all the time. And in New Orleans, who's your favorite non-princess though? That's a good question. Han Solo. I mean, like, that technically meets the criteria. Like, Han Solo isn't a Disney princess, so yeah, I'll go with that one. But, yeah, so so my grandma used to go to New Orleans a lot, and she used to go to all these like fancy restaurants. She used to be an FBI agent actually, which was like really fucking cool. But she got to go to these really fancy restaurants in New Orleans. And in New Orleans, if you go to a restaurant enough times, you get assigned like a waiter for your family. Like we had like the same waiter every time we went. And eventually, when my grandma died, and we went back to New Orleans as like one final trip to kind of like spread her ashes and stuff like that, because she wanted them spread by her church, but we took a trip to New Orleans in her honor first. We had to tell our waiter that she died, and it was really kind of like emotional, low-key. But I grew up going there a lot, so like Princess and the Frog is really sentimental to me, and I don't know, it just makes me happy. It's one of those movies where it's like if I'm sad, I put that shit on. It is so good. What are your thoughts on Tiana's new outfit for the Splash redo? I don't think I've seen it yet, actually. Because I've seen all the stuff. Let me put my keyboard back out. I've seen all the stuff for the ride. Let me see. Venture. Are you talking about the outfit she has, like, on the ride? Or does she... Oh, this one! Can I say something controversial? It's giving American Girl doll. Like... like, it's cute, but like, here, let me put a picture of it on stream. Hold up, let me show my screen real quick. Window capture. There we go. Like, it's cute, but like, she looks like Kit Kittredge from American Girl doll, and it might be because of the hat. Like, it's cute, but I feel like the concept art is cute. But I feel like the actual jacket is too faded, you know? Because they did just do the American Girl doll collab. It looks super cute. Like, I don't know. Does she get any scenes in the dress? Because I fucking love that dress. I'm gonna be kind of mad if she doesn't, low-key. Because, like, it feels like it's, like... I feel like it needs to be more vibrant. You know what I mean? Like, it just needs to be more colorful. It's giving... I want a church girl who goes to church and reads her Bible, which, like, she probably does, but, like, I don't know. I want more, like, the flapper outfit. This is adorable, right? I want more of this. I want the big old dress, okay? 5 out of 10. Final answer. Looks like they had a bit of bleach. Yeah, it feels, like, kind of washed out in a way. I like the concept, but the execution, I don't know how I feel about it. So yeah, Princess Tiana's my favorite princess. Wait, there's a clip of like, wait, what does this say? Oh, I thought it was a screenshot of a Facebook post. So I was like, is someone bitching about it on Facebook? Because like, I can complain about it, but if anyone else complains about it, I'm gonna get offended. Only I can talk shit. I am very excited for the Splash Mountain re-theme. I kind of wanted to go this year and take like a mini trip with friends. It didn't pan out for a number of reasons, but I'm kind of glad it didn't, just because I kind of want to wait till the Splash Mountain re-theme is done, because I'm really fucking excited for that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, let's see who's next. Next is Rapunzel. Her signature is very extra, and I appreciate that. I'm still upset that all she gets is a fucking bathroom. If you remember me talking about that last Disney stream, that made me mad. But like, her signature is really cute. And then Ariel's is also very cute. Ariel's is very extra. She's got the little dashes and she's got the little bubbles. Like, this is adorable. This is so... It surfs. It slays. Like, it's so extra, but, like, in the right ways. You know what I mean? This is Belle's. She and Elsa both could be doctors. Maybe it's because I'm looking at it, like, flipped on the screen. But I'm like... it took me a minute, because I'm looking at it upside down, so I could show it to you, because, like, if I look at it right side up on my end, but, like, see what I mean? I, like, looked at it upside down, and I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. She's getting, oh my god, excuse me. She's getting a whole new land in the Tokyo Disney, yeah, I think she is. They're doing, like, a whole new, like, princess thing, and a fairies thing, and, like, one other thing. But I forgot what it was, but that's okay. This is, who is this? Princess Aurora. Okay, I had to like, that wasn't on her. This is on the fact that I'm not wearing my glasses. Yeah, these are the actual glasses I wear during stream. But I usually keep them off when I'm streaming just because of like eye tracking and stuff. Can I wink? Yeah, okay, I can wink. Peter Pan, Frozen, and Tangled. Yeah! I think they're also doing something. I remember reading something about Pixie Hollow, but that might have been for somewhere else. But Princess Aurora's isn't bad. I think it's cute. And then this is Snow White. Snow White's is very cute. She has the little heart again. The heart is really nice. Mulan's is very much like kind of what you'd expect, I feel like. Like, it's just kind of like to the point. No fluff. She doesn't have time for calligraphy. She has to save China. And I think that's where I ran out. So I still have a few more pages that are blank, but I'm going to need to get a new book soon. I've gotten a lot of characters, but there's still some ones I want to get. I've been trying to, for 2 trips, I've been trying to hunt down Merida. And every time I find her, it's either at the very end of my trip when I'm about to leave, or the very beginning of my trip where I have like a fast pass or like a reservation or something and I don't have time. Or when I do have time, I'll like get in the line and they'll be like, oh, she's about to leave. I'm like, fuck! So I still need to get Merida. I want to get Pocahontas. There are a few others I want to get too, but I can't remember. I want to get the Inside Out characters. I want to get Hero and Baymax. Although I don't think Baymax does autographs, but I want to go see them. And I wanted to get Figment. I don't know if Figment does autograph either, but I haven't met those characters yet. But I want to eventually, I've been doing, as you can see, I have my little Fitbit on. It tells me I've gotten almost 8,000 steps today. Wow. We were supposed to get 10,000 per day, but I work from home. So I have like a little walking pad to the side that kind of like helps me like get steps in and stuff. But my goal is I want to start doing, I want to do Run Disney. I want to do a half marathon at some point. Or I think it's like either a half marathon or a 5K. Part of it is because I want to continue my fitness journey. I've been doing really good. But the other part of it is I want to meet more characters. And they have the rare characters at Run Disney. So like, first priority, autographs. Second priority, my health. Yeah, that's my autograph book. Let's get into the fun part. So I do have, this is a little lanyard that I wear whenever I have like pins and stuff like that. I used to also have a Tinkerbell one, but they don't sell it anymore, so I had to get a new one because my Tinkerbell one broke. So this is just, I just have the princess one because I think the princess one is super, super cute. They don't sign on the course though. Aw, wait, really? You have to get them all before 5K, 10K, and half marathons. There's a full in January too. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do the 5K because I've never done anything like that before. But I'm really enjoying hiking. I've started running a bit, and I really, really like it. I want to get better at it and keep building my stamina. But that's the lanyard I wear whenever I have my pins and stuff. Where's my little thingy? Here we go. So I had to take some of these off because one of them was my happy birthday button that doxed me. I've got a little pendant where I'm holding my pins. Let me actually move myself real quick. And again, I used to have more. This is a Hatsude Miku that my friend gave me. I used to have more, but again, I went through an edgy phase and I threw out all my Disney stuff. So I've been slowly building my collection again, but I did still have some old pins, like this Goofy pin is really old. They used to have these little, like, cute sets of characters. Let me see if I can, like, take some of these out, because some of these I really, really like. Some of them I don't really care about, though. But I used to have, like, a full set. I'm looking on the thing. I don't have a ton of them. I might have traded some of them. Pin trading is a really big thing in Disney World. But they have these little, like, cute versions of different characters that I really, really liked. Let me see if I can, like, go back to, like, the warm tone. Here, let me do... There we go. Okay. But this one, that didn't really help that much. They don't usually make these as much anymore. But I used to have that one a whole lot. I did get a 50th anniversary pin for Walt Disney World, so I was like, I probably should. But there's a lot of pins I really like. Some of these I, like, won't trade with anyone. Like, the grape soda pin is probably one of my favorites. I think it's super cute. And I really like my Wally and Eve. And I really like my Remy pin. The Star Wars one is really nifty, though. Let me, like, take it out. The Star Wars one is probably one of my favorites. It's for a really stupid reason, though. Come on, get. There we go. Okay. But the reason... Oh, I forgot there's fucking 2 of them. This pin's chunky. I don't know what's up with this one. You can hear them, like, rattling around, probably. But, okay, there we go. The reason I like this Star Wars pin... It's really stupid, but look. Boop. And then, boop. It's so dumb, but it brings me so much joy. Look at him. But yeah, he has two pin bags because he's just a chonker. The Baymax helping the little dudes is really cute. There is a Club Penguin Puffle on here. That is one of my... I am not trading that. Absolutely. You will need to give me $500 for me to give up my Club Penguin Puffle pin because I love that shit so much. I love Club. I used to have a whole set of Puffles, but when I was really into pin trading, that was when Club Penguin was still really big. So I traded most of them away, but this one pink Puffle remained. I love Piglet. That's again one of the chibi ones. I love Tigger and Pooh, so I had a Pooh pin. I traded someone for this Pooh Disneyland pin, which I think is cute. The Piglet safety pin is okay. It's not one of my favorites. I do like the little Aurora with the tassels. I think it's really extra, and I'm kind of into that. Let me see. There we go. This one, I think this was like, this is the Elsa emoji, if I recall correctly. And honestly, I think it's kind of ugly. I think I got it out of a gacha or something like that. So I might be trading that one next time I go. But I love my princess pins. I have Pocahontas, Raya, Merida, Cinderella, Anna, Elsa, Mirabelle, and then they had all these like little chibi dudes. Again, that's not really different. I think oh, these are the Tsum Tsums. These are the Tsum Tsums. I fucking love Tsum Tsum. Tsum Tsum was like a little match pair game that Disney had for a while, and they would look like this. And I have a plushie that looks like one of these. Wait, hold on. Hey, David.
What?
Can you bring me my big Pooh Bear?
Yes.
It's important. The people need to see him. I also have this turtle. I don't know where the turtle came from, but he's pretty cool. And then there used to be this big set of like the little baby princesses. They're like the princesses, but they're babies. And I used to have a bunch more, but again, I think I traded some of them. And these are the ones I have left. I have Mulan left, Jasmine, Belle, and Snow White. And then I also have the I'm Celebrating, because the last time I went to Disney World, you guys sent me to Disney World the last time I went to Disney World. So I got my I'm Celebrating pin. And it was to celebrate finishing my first year of teaching in a public school. Now that didn't end the way I wanted it to. But I still keep the pin because it's sentimental. Yeah, so like Tsum Tsum, hold on. This is like, they used to have big plushies of Tsum Tsums. This is my friend. This is, this is my best friend. And they like, look, he's so fucking cute and he's so chunky, okay? I love he's such a rotund fella, okay? I love him. I love him so fucking much. It's not like Pom Pom Purin though. He doesn't have a butthole. But that's okay. You know, not everyone needs a butthole. It's okay. But he's just so fucking cute. David bought this for me, I think in like 2016, and I have loved him dearly to this day. I have a Stitch one too that's a little bit smaller, but I don't know where he is. But I remember I bought it. I bought it when I went with my parents and David, and my mom didn't like remember the name for Stitch, so she would just be like, "He's your little critter," and I'm like, "Yeah, he is. He's my little critter." It was very, very cute. But yeah, those are all my pins. I want to get more, but I don't have a ton right now. I'm still kind of like building those back up slowly but surely. So let me see. I think the little pin I used to hold up my pins just fell on the floor, so that's a little concerning, because that means there's a push pin somewhere. Oh wait, no, I see where it is, so I'll hang that back up after stream. But now, this is the fun part. This is my ears. So some of these are really basic, some of them are really cute. I had a lot of people ask me, why do you collect ears when you don't go, because it's like, I feel like it makes sense if you're like an annual pass holder or you just go to Disney a lot in general. I don't go to Disney a lot. I like Disney a lot. I don't go a whole lot. Okay, I usually go once every 4 or 5, maybe 3 years, right? I just think they're neat. Okay, I just think they're cute. I think they're cool. I know I'm not gonna wear them, but I like displaying them on my wall. I used to be one of those people who was like, yeah, I like Disney, but like, I'm not one of those bitches that has like a wall full of ears. And now here we are. But I like these a lot. I got these my last trip. I kind of like the whole cottagecore aesthetic with them. I will say just off the bat, none of these are comfortable. Just point blank period. None of them are comfortable. They are all uncomfortable. But I really like the cottagecore aesthetic of these. They're really squishy. And I like just kind of like the tablecloth pattern. I saw these and I was like, I have to have them. My last trip, and they made me really, really happy. So a lot of we're kind of going to start with like basic to not basic. So my next ones, actually these are not basic at all. These I got, so if they still do that. I think they do, but they used to do something. So Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is basically where little girls can go. They get their hair, their makeup, their nails done. They look like a princess. They get the big princess dress. They take pictures. They get a little sash. Hooray, right? But not every girl wants to do that, and also they want something for the boys. So they had a pirate experience, okay, where you could have your makeup done like a pirate, and you could get a cool little pirate outfit and a sword. And when I was in my not like other girls phase, that was what I did. And you know, despite everything, I think these ears still go hard as fuck. Okay, they're kind of extra, but I love the little bow on top. I love the little like pin, I guess, brooch. And I love the little rose. There's like, some may say there's a lot going on, but I have a lot going on. So, you know, they fit me. They fit me well. So these I would put at like 8 out of 10. I think they're very cute. I think they're very, very cute. So let me see. Oh, what's next? What's next? Okay, these are kind of basic, and some may say these don't count as Mickey ears. I don't care. These are my Winnie the Pooh ears. I think they're really cute, and I actually got these during COVID. So when lockdown was still happening, this was when like I couldn't see David. I was living with my parents, and it was Halloween, and we were really like sad about, you know, lockdown and everything. It was Halloween 2020, but my dad was determined for us to still have a fun time. So we all ordered costumes off Amazon, and I got a little Winnie the Pooh dress, and I got these little ears, and we had a little costume party with my family during COVID, and it was really, really cute. Big ups to my parents for still trying to let my sister, because my sister was still in high school at the time, have a good time during lockdown. We had our own little Halloween party. We had candy and treats, and we listened to Halloween music, and it was really, really fun. So I didn't get these at Disney World or for Disney World, but they are very cute. They are very, very special to me, so I like those a lot. So we'll put those to the side for now. Okay, this is where we start to get controversial. I think Wish is a bad movie. Like, I'm just gonna start with that. Wish is not a good movie. I'm sorry, okay? Sorry, I had to hydrate real quick. It's not a good movie, okay? However, I think these are adorable. I love gold and blue. Gold and blue is a color scheme I can always fuck with. I think the bow is super cute. They lost out on a big opportunity to not make this little guy glow. I don't know this guy's name, but like, let him glow. Let him shine bright like a diamond. Hi, Nathaniel. That's the newest one. Yeah, I think it's bad. The music is not very good. I don't think the writing's very good. Some people are saying it was made by AI. I don't think that's true. I think it was a lot of committees trying to write the movie and not actual writers and artists, because so even though I don't like the movie these are referencing, I do still think they're very, very cute, and I do like them a lot, and I probably will wear them next trip, because they do match a lot of the stuff that I have. So I do like those a lot. Even though I don't like the movie, I like them a lot. If I like the movie, 10 out of 10, or maybe 9 out of 10, but since I don't like the movie, 8 out of 10. These are also pretty generic, but I like them. They're just pink with a crown attached to them, but I think they're super cute, and I bought these specifically to wear in Magic Kingdom. I'm that type of bitch where I will buy ears, and like I will plan which ears I wear which day, because I'm insufferable. So like there's not a ton going on here, but the tiara is really, really cute. Because that was the thing, is I was like, I kind of want to wear a little tiara, that'd be cute, but I didn't want to be like weird, so I decided to be even weirder and buy a tiara on a pair of Mickey ears. I'm not sure what was going through my head there, but it worked in my mind. So that's the first 3. Let me see. Let me hang some of these up. Also, don't think that you're accidentally gonna get to see my feet just by me walking up. I'm wearing Crocs. I have guarded my toes with the power of Crocs, so don't get any ideas, okay? Don't get any ideas, okay? Let me grab the next few. I don't really have that many. There's only 6 more, so I don't really have a ton. But I thought it'd still be fun to do this, because people ask me to, and God damn it, I'll deliver. So some of these, even though I haven't been to Disney in a while, my parents went to Disney, so they bought me some at their last trip. What kind of ideas are you thinking we're getting? I don't know. jokes about wanting to see my feet. And it's like, it kind of makes sense, but like, I don't know what people want from me, because like, I don't have legs. So like, I don't know where people are going with that. But welcome in, Bruce. So, you know, that's sending your future wiki feet rating down. No! Not my wiki feet! Anything but that! But anyway, my parents got me these on their last trip. These were the Disney 100 ears. I think they're really cute. I think the bow is really cool, and I like this little thing in the center. The Disney 100 celebration was like, kind of like, felt like it lasted way too long, but I still think these are cute, and if you look closely, they have like the characters and stuff on the ears. They're not the best, but they're not the worst either, you know? I think they're still very, very cute, you know? I think they're very, if you want the some people like the monochrome look, some don't. I don't think they're bad. I don't think I'd just always reach for them. I definitely probably will wear them at some point, just because since it's one color, it's really easy to match with stuff. Like, this is way easier to match with than like this. Like, outfit wise, this is gonna be way easier than this one. And don't get me wrong, I still love this one. It's very fucking camp, but like, that sometimes that's not what the occasion calls for, you know? So I do really like these. I like that the bow's super stable. These were also, my parents bought these for me for Christmas, and these were also a Loungefly exclusive. Usually the Loungefly exclusive ears, so ears are fucking expensive, okay? If you're going to Disney World, I would recommend buying your ears ahead of time, or buying custom ears from someone on Etsy, because they'll probably be cheaper than in the park if you don't want to spend a ton of money. Most ears are around $35 right now, if I recall correctly, but if they're a Loungefly exclusive, like they have this little like emblem on them, usually they're around $45. So my parents bought me these for Christmas, and normally I could not justify spending $45 on ears, so I'm glad they bought them for me, because I like having them in my collection, especially since it is for the 100th anniversary. So even though it's not my cup of tea, I feel like it's a good collector's piece, you know, and I'm still gonna wear them, so it's okay. But another one of my favorite ears, I actually like these ones a lot. So some people may not like these. I really think they're cute. So these are based off of Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway. And here's the thing, okay? I already talked about my beef with this ride, because I like this ride a lot. But it did replace the Great Movie Ride. And y'all know how I feel about the Great Movie Ride. I fucking love the Great Movie Ride. We need more Disney rides where you can get shot or watch someone get shot as part of the experience. And I don't know why they keep taking that away from me, okay? They took all the lore out of Kilimanjaro Safaris, okay? They took the illegal shit out of Kilimanjaro, and they took the murder out of the Great Movie Ride. Well, they took the Great Movie Ride out in general, so I'm like, you know, like, what the fuck? But these are really cute. It shows them in their little red car. I really like the bird in the middle. I know some people might think that's like stupid. I think it's cute. And the little bow is meant to look like picnic basket like colors, or picnic blanket colors. And you also have Pluto with the picnic basket. So I think these are adorable. I understand they may be too much for some people, but I think they're fantastic. So yeah, I would give these a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Now we're getting on to the best pair of ears that I own, hands down, my absolute most favorite. So if you know me, and I've talked about this before on other streams, I have a problem. Well, okay, I have lots of problems, but like, I fucking love the movie Ratatouille. I love the movie Ratatouille so much, where at one point, I think I've watched the movie Ratatouille 97 times now, and I can recite parts of it by memory. I really like Ratatouille. When I went on the Ratatouille ride at Epcot, I cried my fucking eyes out. Okay, I was having the time of my life. It was euphoric. So these are my favorite ears of all time. I know that in some might think they're gaudy, but you got Remy with the grapes and the fruit and the cheese. Okay, it's like the one scene where he's putting it all together, right? You've got the tablecloth bow, and you've got the He's Remy the Ratatouille, and these are perfect. These are literally perfect. Nothing can top this. I'm sorry. These are gorgeous. Okay, these are absolutely fucking fantastic. Okay, I love them so much. So I think these are fantastic. These are definitely my favorite out of all the ones in my collection. So let me put these away, and we'll go over the last three. The last three, some of them are cool. Some of them are kind of. Let me see. Look, I gotta reach. Ah, no, that's okay. I'll grab it. Okay, I have to reach up tall for these. Look, okay. So. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance headband looks like. I would wear that to a court hearing. Like, if I got put on trial for murder, I would absolutely roll up in my Remy the Ratatouille ears. Like, what are they gonna... They would probably evict me on the spot. Or evict me? Convict me? Convict me! That's the word. Fuck. So, we got some seasonal shit going on. I didn't have any Christmas-themed ears, so my parents bought me these. It's literally... They're okay. These are also a Loungefly exclusive. And, like, here's the thing. I would justify paying $45 for the Remy the Ratatouille ears. These two they don't look like $45 quality to me, right? Like, so, like, here's the front, here's the back, right? It's just kind of glued on. There's nothing going on at the back. I feel like, they're cute. I like them, and I'm very grateful my parents bought me them for Christmas. But, like, as a consumer, I don't think these are worth $45.
Gaslight,
you know?
gatekeep,
Wendigo Physics, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm info dumping. Yeah, these have there's no ass. There's no ass. Like, what? Like, you got all the party in the front, but you got nothing on the back. What the fuck is up with that? So, like, they're cute. You know, I like the bow. I like it's squishy, and the design is cute, but, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's missing something, you know? Like, it's... you know, I like them. I'll still wear them if I go during Christmas time. But are they my favorite thing in the whole world? No. And that's okay. So, the next set is really... Okay, I don't know when Disney stopped doing this, but... These are cool as fuck, okay? And what they used to do, they don't do this anymore. I don't know when they stopped doing this. But basically, what you do is you would buy just a generic base set of Mickey ears, and then you could buy all these bows, right? And they had bows themed for different rides. This one particularly is themed towards It's a Small World. So you can see it's got the It's a Small World clock. It's got like the designs that are on like the outside of the ride, and it's all purple and shiny. It's very, very cute. But the idea was you just buy one set of ears, and then you buy the different bows. I don't remember how much the bows cost, but then you just like clip it on there, and then you're good to go, right? So they're very cute. I don't find myself wearing these super often, even though they are cute, although sometimes I do wear the bow on its own, because it's, like, weighted, right? Because the bow kind of has to go on one side. There's no way to really, like, clip it in the middle. Like, if you do try to get towards the middle, it might, like, be kind of, like, falling off at some point, so you kind of have to, like, direct it towards one side. So then it's all weighted, and it's cute, but again, I don't grab to them very often, because they're kind of, like, a little bit, like, okay, again, all of them are uncomfortable to wear. None of these are comfortable. And that's okay, right? It's for the enjoyment of it. We're having fun. We're enjoying it, right? But, like, I don't know. They're cute, but they could be cuter. And they could be, like, this bow, she's got some weight to her. You know, she's got, put her up a division. Like, she's in an advanced weight class. She could fight somebody, you know? So they're cute, but I feel like I display them more than I wear them, for sure. And then this is my last set. These are the Nightmare Before Christmas ears. So the bow, I don't know how I feel about these. So I'm going to say something controversial, yet brave. Hi, Nick. Welcome in. I don't get all the hype around Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, I don't think it's a bad movie, you know? I don't think it's bad, right? But, like, I don't know. I feel like people are still losing their shit over it. And, like, that's fine. You know, I still lose my shit over Ratatouille. But I feel like Nightmare Before Christmas has a really big, like, cult following. So, and it's like, you know, I'm not gonna judge. You know, live your best life. But it's just one of the things where it's like, I don't get it. I don't quite get it, you know? But these are really cute. The texture of these is really different. You can see they're kind of really glossy. And they're, like, they change in the light. And then the bow is, like, completely translucent. The bow is really, like, I don't know, it's cool, but like, it's on topic, it's culture. Good for you for saying that, because you're right, actually, and you're so fucking brave for that. It's not even the top 10 Disney movies. I don't know, you know? Anything around goth culture tends to have a following. That makes sense, because it's like, I get why, like, it is a nice aesthetic, but I just feel like, objectively speaking, there's better movies. You know what I mean? Hi, Gamma, welcome to Gamer. Got any Princess Belle stuff? I wish, although one of the things I want to do, because this is actually my last pair of ears, I wanted to show you guys my wish list of ears that I want and I think are really cute. And I also wanted to show you some ears that I saw and I think are really fucking ugly. And there was a pair of Princess Belle ears that was really, really cute. So let me see if I can adjust. But that was my last set of ears, so I'll have to put the rest of these up soon. Unfortunately, I don't have more Disney stuff. I really wish I did. But next time I go to the park... Oh, fuck, I paused the music. Ah! It's so Jover. I'm gonna spend so much money. Okay, so let's go... Let's do this real quick. And we'll do... Dip. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna... Let me make sure I open this in a different tab so I don't dox myself. Hee hee hee. I love not doxing myself. I have such a good time when I don't dox myself. So first place we're gonna check is Shop Disney. So Shop Disney is where you can buy a lot of park stuff without going into the parks. But they don't have everything that's in the park. So there's some stuff we're gonna have to look at where we're gonna have to like Google it specifically because it's only in the parks. Where's Firefox? Here it is. Okay, cool. So, boop. Okay, there we go. Why is it big? Also, why is there a woman? I don't know how to handle that. So let me make this the size I want it to be. Fit the screen. Okay, I guess that's just what it's gonna be. 30% off lightsaber hilts. Oh, fuck yeah. So they have like all kinds of stuff. Like, so if you have children and you want to take them to, because I know my audience has like I have some people that watch me that are like 18. I have some people that watch me that are like in their 40s with children. If you have a daughter and you want to take her to Disney World, the costumes, like if she's little and she's in the princesses, she's gonna want one of the fucking dresses. Okay, that is just, it's gonna happen. They cost like $60 to $100 in the park. Buy them online or get them from like Walmart beforehand and like lay it out for her the night before. Do not buy that shit at Disney. It is so expensive. Like some of them at Disney are like not $7 billion, but I have seen the most expensive dress I saw was one of the Frozen ones, and I believe it was around 150 doubloons. So it was expensive. Oh, they do have the Orange Bird stuff on here. Okay, the Orange Bird stuff. Okay, so David loves the Orange Bird stuff. I do wish they made adult sizes of the princess dresses low-key, because it's like, I get that it's like, because the thing with Disney is they have a rule about adults dressing up as the princesses, so I think that's why they're not size inclusive, is they have just like, they don't want adults dressing up, just point blank period, you know? But like, I don't know, man. I would pay money for it. Like, just to walk around in my house, you know, I'd do it. So, right now, Epcot has festivals that rotate throughout. Right now, they're going through the Flower and Garden Festival, which is one of my favorite festivals. But the little mascot is this motherfucker named Orange Bird. Hold on. Hey, David.
What?
Do you have anything to say about Orange Bird?
I fucking love that little thing. I would lay my life on the line for Orange Bird.
So, wait, do we have the Orange Bird plushie still?
Yeah.
Can you go grab it?
I will go.
I have a story about the Orange Bird plushie, okay? The color commentary is great. No, it's fantastic. I'll put the camera back on in a second. Okay, I don't stay at Disney resorts as much now that I'm going as an adult, because I have to spend my own money on things. Although, when I start using Dave's Vacation Club again, I might get custom magic bands, because they are super cute. But I just, magic bands are basically what you use to scan into the park. It's kind of like, here, let me actually turn this back on. It's kind of like my Fitbit, right? So basically what you do is you wear it around. If you're staying at a Disney resort, this is your room key. It scans for like payment, and it scans, you just like scan it and you're like, beep, and then you get into the park, right? So basically, if you want, you can have custom magic bands that you kind of fill up. Okay, so is this, okay. So David, I want you to be here as we tell this story. So we have, this little guy. Okay, we have... Fuck. Ah, I changed my outfit. How did I do that? I think I accidentally pressed a button. And I changed my outfit. Put it back. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Can I change my outfit back? No? Okay. That's fine. Thank you. Whoever just beat the shit out of me. Thank you. I appreciate you. We're just gonna reload my model because I'm lazy. Put it back. But anyway, we have... Ignore my torso. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. But basically, we have this little man. Okay, we bought this orange bird plushie the last time. And David, do you want to tell the story of how we got convinced to buy this little man?
So they have a little kiosk that was full of orange bird merchandise, and I'm a big fan.
David's a big fan of orange bird.
So we're over there. We're looking at the merchandise, and what shocked me here is that I never thought I would hear a Disney employee say like even a slightly vulgar word.
Well, I started taking screenshots. God damn it.
But like, so we're sitting there, we're looking at it, and
there we go.
I'm like, oh, that's cute. And the employee stops me and is like, you know, his ass smells like oranges. If
you smell his butt, it does smell like oranges. Like, hold on, let me check. It still smells like oranges. It's been 3 years.
And I was just like, what? And he's like, yeah, it smells like oranges.
Wood? Wood? Hey, David, wood?
You stop that.
No, but he still smells like oranges. He's really cute, but his butthole does smell like oranges. Why are you sniffing his butt? Disney told me to sniff this man's butthole. If Disney tells you to sniff a man's butthole, you listen. You listen. Who am I to deny the corporate capitalists some fucking butthole sniffing? Like, what do they want me to do? But yeah, that's Orange Bird. We love Orange Bird. I think he's really cute. I think he's very adorable. Poor people clicking this stream just to see you sniffing ass. What do we say, gamers? There's no good time to enter an EB Games stream. Truthfully, Mickey can't got that much power over me. Well, I do. Sniff that ass. No, I'm kidding. Hi, Bumble. But yeah, so I was seeing a bunch of Orange Bird stuff on TikTok, and I think a lot of the merch is cute. This is... Okay, the ceramic picture is really fucking cute. The juicer makes sense, but there's Orange Bird ears I'm looking for. Oh, these are cute. Okay, so here's the thing. I do not give a fuck about... Okay, actually, I have more Disney... David!
What?
Can you go grab my purse? And can you get the other one from the closet too, the white one?
I need to do everything.
David's can we get a shout out to David? Thank you for grabbing stuff. But, I forgot about this. So, I am not a fancy handbag person. Like, you see, these handbags are like $300, okay? There's no world where I can justify sending that much money on a handbag. However, my mom is a handbag person. And I love my mom. I love my mom so much. But for a while, she was buying me these, like, really, really nice handbags. And I had to be like, Mom, I love you. I am just not a handbag girly. And she was like, okay, I respect that. I respect that. But then she cracked the code. And Dooney and Burke, this fancy-ass handbag brand, does do...
And here's the other one.
Thank you.
Also, here's the Animal Kingdom lion in case it shows up, because that's also Disney related.
Thank you. We do have the Animal Kingdom lion. The only thing that mentions he's from Animal Kingdom is he has Animal Kingdom on his butt. Lots of Disney ass today. Very, very interesting. But the only thing that I like the way my mom got me into fancy handbags, and I did not pay for any of these. Shout out to Mom B, because she bought all these for me. This is a Disney Cruise Dooney and Burke bag. This is the only fancy handbag I give a shit about because it's Disney. I use only, like, my mom is like the it girl. Like, my mom is like the it girl from ATL, ITG, IRL. Because she has like 12 different handbags. She like matches them to her outfit. She is literally the queen of sleigh. Okay, so this one's Disney Cruise themed. It has all the Disney boats on it. It has like the names of them and all that jazz. It's very cute, and it has the princesses and the characters too. And then this one, my mom also got me. This one has all the parks on them. So pretty much, I use this one during spring and summer, and I use the other one during fall and winter. So these are the only 2 handbags, like fancy handbags I use. Not because they're fancy. Like, if you bought this at Target for $15, I'd still buy it. I just like them because they're Disney. Like, these are the only fancy handbags I own and give a shit about. is because they're Disney. So that's how my mom got me into fancy handbags. Is not because I care about the handbags. I just like Disney things. But they do have the Dooney and Burke that is orange bird themed. Oh, this is cute. Mom, are you watching? No, I'm kidding. I did tell my dad I was streaming, and he's like, yeah, we might pop in. And usually he'll, like, text me when I'm streaming, but my phone's in the other room, so I don't know if they're watching, but... Mom, if you're watching... Oh, wait, let me try that again. Just, Momby! But these are really cute, you know. Can I personally justify spending $300 on a bag? Fuck no, I cannot! But, like, it's cute. Like, if I won the lottery, there'd be signs, right? Another thing that gets people kind of... Okay. You've probably seen these little lounge fly bags, okay? There are these little mini backpacks, and they're very famous in Disney World, right? They're very, very popular. And I have one. I'm not going to ask David to go get it because I think it's actually a knockoff. Because I bought one off Mercari. And it was really cute. It was like a Winnie the Pooh one. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. It was... Let me see. I think it might have been this one. It was similar to this. Maybe not exactly, but he had like the flowers on the top of his head. And I was really excited about it. I thought it was really cute. But these little like leather straps... They, like, rubbed off, like, the paint on the leather straps, I guess they're not real leather, rubbed off on my clothes. So I had, like, 3 shirts ruined because I didn't even notice it. Like, I brought this to Off-Kai Expo, and I was gonna cosplay one of Crony's outfits from Hololive, because I really like Crony. But I couldn't, because the fucking leather straps rubbed off on the sweater and ruined my fucking sweater. So I think I might have gotten a knockoff. So next time, if I do buy one of these bags, I'm gonna go through official means. But here's the thing is they're super, and this is why I went on Mercari in the first place. They're super cute, but they're small, and this is fucking $80. Like, it's cute. It's so fucking cute, but like, $80. And like, here's the thing. If you're in the parks, if you're traveling, if you're on vacation, this is perfect, okay? It's a bag. You can get enough stuff in it. It's not too big. And you can, like if I was going on a trip to Japan, if I was going to Disney, like, these are perfect. But $80? What? Like, hello? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's very cute. I can't justify it. I'm sorry, okay? Okay. So, what do y'all know about Figment?
Ooh, Figment!
David, how do you feel about Figment?
Fucking love him.
Okay, so...
Great.
Figment was really big in the 80s as the mascot of Epcot. Figment Big Feet plush! Why he got the dogs out? So... I don't know. It's like... Figment was really big in the 80s. He was like the mascot of Epcot, and now he's having a resurgence, right? You might have heard about this. People stood in a 6-hour line for this fucking popcorn bucket. It was reselling for like hundreds of dollars. Okay, here's the thing. David at first just started calling him Fat Spyro.
Oh, well, tell me that's not just Fat Spyro. Like, I know technically Spyro came after, but look at him.
He is kind of... You can't say that. The Disney girlies are going to be so mad at you.
Let him be mad.
Because, like... Yeah, I like how... So, David... The comment doesn't read David is right and he should say it. It says David is right and should have rights. So I like the implication that David did not have rights before. Congratulations, David. You've been liberated.
Woo! Separated!
In the year 2024, everyone can vote. Except David.
Aww.
Until now!
Yeah.
But, like, he's really cute, okay? He is really cute, but people went crazy over this motherfucker. Like, he's cute. Don't get me wrong, but 6 hours for a popcorn bucket? I don't know, man. Since starting HRT, bags have been such a punch in the gut for me. Yeah, they're very cute. They're very cute, but just like, that's why I wanted to buy it. Like, here's the thing. I don't care about knockoffs. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, if someone was like, your Gucci bag is fake, I don't give a shit. I don't own, first of all, I don't own any Gucci bags, but like, who gives a fuck? You know, it's a bag, right? And, but like, they're so cute, but they're so expensive. Look at this little nugget. Oh my god, wait, look at him. Oh, they made him edible. Wait, he looks edible, but he's not edible. Oh, it's the festival. Oh my god, wait, look at his little face. Wait, David, come here. Look at him.
Oh my god, he's so square.
Hi, JK. Are the Dune popcorn bags being scalped? I fucking hope so. I hope so. I'd fuck the Dune popcorn bucket. Have you seen the Dune popcorn bucket, David?
I have.
Would you fuck it?
No. I am waiting for someone to make an STL of it, though, so I can 3D print them.
And then you'll fuck it.
No, just so I can be like, haha, you waited all this time for that bucket, and I have 12 of them for free.
Well, if you won't fuck the bucket, then I will. Someone's got to be the man of the house.
God damn it.
But yeah, he's very popular, but I don't really get the appeal. Would I buy these Epcot paintings if I had money? Yeah, I would, actually. They're really cute, but I don't have money. Welcome back, Tap. I really hope you didn't come back to me saying I'd fuck a popcorn bucket, but knowing my luck, the fuck it, no. One Dune popcorn bucket with extra butter, please. Hold the popcorn. No! What do we say? When is a good time to enter my stream? Never! So I'm trying to see, the one thing I'm trying to see, where do they have the orange bird stuff. Here's where we got distracted, okay? This is what I'm looking for. Okay, I wanted to go through and show you ears that I think are really cute and ears that I think are fucking ugly. Because some of these I have admittedly been looking at buying, and then I check my bank account and I go, not today. But I have things I can save up for. Although the ears online do rotate, so there is a chance that what you see today you won't see all the time. Just put a skirt on the popcorn bucket. Can I like draw lips on it? Like, can I like take lipstick and just like spread it across the rim of the... No, I need to stop. I need to stop. I need to stop. Now I hope my parents aren't watching stream, because now they're going to hear me talk about fucking a popcorn bucket. I love you, Mom and Dad! So, I saw these ones, okay? And these ones are like, I feel like they're also like monochromatic. I think these are cute. I think these are adorable. I like that there's like earception going on here, right? The charm is ears. There's ears on the ears. I think that's adorable, okay? I would buy these. These are very, very cute. The Anna ears are also like, they're kind of basic, but I feel like they embody the character very well. You know what I mean? I think it's like, I think the way they incorporate her dress into the ears is super fucking cute. The Snow White ears, I feel like more could have been done with the Snow White ears, low-key. Like, it's just sequins, right? I feel like there could have been more texture. Like, you know how she has the cape? You know, I like that they have the white on top of it to kind of, like, resemble the, like, collar, I guess she has on her dress. But, like, she has that whole-ass cape. And I feel like it's just like the Christmas ones. These ears have no ass. Like, all the business in the front, but there's no party in the back. You know, Snow is always super mid for me. Yeah, I don't know, I'm probably gonna go see the remake, just because I do really like, what's her face? Fuck, what's the name of the actress that's playing the new Snow White? She was in the Hunger Games movie. I don't remember her name, but I like her. I like her singing voice a lot in Songbird and Snakes. The new Hunger Games movie was really bad on a lot of levels, but, like, I liked hearing her sing. What was her name? It wasn't Alanis Morissette. It was, Ballad of... Wait, what the fuck?
That you're subscribed so that you can get all the latest updates.
No.
Also,
go away. I don't want to subscribe. Well, I think I already am subscribed, actually. Here, let me get my music started again. But, like, what was it? Okay, Ballad of Songbirds. And... Okay, sorry about that. who was it? It was Rachel Ziegler, however the fuck you say it. A lot of people don't like her because she was like, I'm just here to get my check. Thank you, Frostbite. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know, she's kind of ripping on Snow White, like, don't shit where you sleep. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? That's valid. Girlie's there to get her paycheck and go home. And as, you know, I respect that. Now, do I think the dress is ugly? Yes. Like, okay, hold up. Nothing against her. And maybe it'll look better, but, like, I think the dress looks ugly. Like, I feel like it looks better in this shot. It might just look bad in this shot because she's, like, offset. But, like, I don't know. Something about the dress isn't dressing. Like, it's really poofy. It's not supposed to be poofy. You know? It's supposed to be, like, you know what I mean? And I don't mind giving her sleeves, you know? But, like, it's not supposed to be poofy. Also, where's her cape? I liked her little cape. Her cape was nice. I like that. But, yeah. These ears, that's a no from me. Now, the Cinderella ears, I would spend money on these. I really like Cinderella. Again, these ears have no ass, which is a little lame. I would like some ass to be put on the ears, right? But, like, here's the thing, right? You've got the carriage. You've got the sparkles. You've got 2 layers of bow, and the charm is a clock. That's so fucking cute, okay? It feels like there's more going on here, right? Snow White ears, mid. Cinderella ears, cute. These ears have a little bit of ass. Well, okay, so what I mean when I say the ears have no ass, it means there's nothing happening in the back, right? Well, you gotta remember with the ears, people are gonna see them from the front, but most of the time, people are gonna be looking at the back of your head. I feel like there should be something going on in the back, too, right? Like, there was no ass. There was no ass. It was flat, okay? I liked Snow White and was the Disney Princess Lego movie, but that's because, yeah, she was kind of just there in, like, the Wreck-It Ralph movie, too. Like, I feel like when people reference Snow White, they just think of the, like, ah, you know, that kind of, like, singing voice, and that's it. They're, like, I don't know, just, like, that's kind of all I remember her for. She was in a glass box, and she was like, ah, like, that's how she sang, and that's pretty much what I remember from that. The Evil Queen ears, I don't know how I feel about these. I honestly don't know how I feel about these. I like the apples. The apples are cute. I feel like the crown and the gem is a bit too much. I feel like it should have been one or the other. You know what I mean? I don't know. They're not that bad, though. And you know what? They do have a little bit of ass. The tiniest, most minute bit of ass. But ass nonetheless. And you know what? I respect that. I respect that. Sorry, I just saw a Tap's message in the stream Discord of quoting me. Not everyone needs a butthole. And you know what? I live by that. I personally think my life would be improved tenfold if I didn't have a butthole. Because if I didn't have a butthole, then I wouldn't have IBS. Not sure if that's how that works, but that's okay. The color scheme is really cute here, though. The color scheme is really cute. These are fine. I don't really even feel the need to alt-tab these. It's just black and gold. It's fine. Black and gold is always gonna work. How do we feel about the Avengers ones? I'm not an Avengers girly, okay? I've never been super into superhero movies. That's just never been my vibe. I do think the tie-dye bow, like the paint splatter, I do think that's really cute. I don't know, I don't think here's the thing, even though I don't like the franchise, I appreciate the characters on both sides, and I think the paint splatter blow is kind of cool. And I think the little logo works really nice. Those are fine. Those are fine. Some people, okay, what do we think about these? Because everyone on TikTok has a different fucking opinion about the pizza ears. I get why people may not like them. I think these are cute as fuck. Okay, I'm sorry. I know some people think they're ugly. What do you mean, nope? Why? Welcome in, though. I think they're cute. It's got the little Mickey pepperonis, the leaky cheese bow. It's like melting. I think it's cute, okay? Some people think it's really gaudy. but I think they're cute. I would wear them, okay? I think they're adorable. I just didn't see the pizza right away. Yeah, I can see that. I feel like they could be more obviously pizza, but they are very cute. I would buy those, and I have thought about buying them. I'm kind of just scrolling through. There was another, here, I'll have to find a TikTok, or I might have to Google them to see them. Because, like, the Daisy ears are cute. The Moana ears are really fucking cute. I think this is awesome. The flowers are cute. Yeah, there was the one, okay, so here's the one I want. There's a few ones I want right now, right? So, we were on the topic of Orange Bird. New Orange Bird ears came out. Let me find here. Disney ears 2024. Because I'm trying to find, oh, there was a bunch of them I wanted. And I'm trying to see if I can, is there like a thing with it? Hello! Chicken nuggets taco sandwich is the best applesauce to go with Doritos that taste like lasagna when eating a hot dog. Based. That's all I got. Based. So, like, these were fine. These are just, it's just the color peach. That's fine. These are cute, I guess. Okay. The little s'mores. These are cute. I'm sorry. These are cute. I don't care if it's not actually ears. They're fucking cute. Look at them. These two little guys. It's got a little bow. These are fucking cute. They're not on the website. You can only buy them in the parks right now. But those are cute. I don't know how I feel about these. I feel like there's too much going on with these ones. You know what I mean? Adorable and delicious. Oh, they are, though. And I love Big Hero 6, but, like, I don't know. I feel like the cat and and Baymax, I feel like there's too much happening. I see the vision. Okay, that's what I'll say. I see the vision, right? But I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just not sure if it works. You know? I don't know if I'm crazy for that. We saw those ones. Yeah, there's more Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. Okay. The tarot cards are kind of cute. I'm sorry. Oh, Jason, thank you so much for the 20 months, gamer. Hello. Hello, gamer. Thank you, bestie. Welcome in. We're talking about, we already went over my collection. Now we're talking about ears that I want and ears that I think look fucking stupid. I'm sorry. But thank you, gamer. You have so many PlayStations. But I don't get the appeal of Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, it's cool. It's a decent movie. I don't get why everyone's losing their shit over it still. Like, it's been, how long has it been? $1993? I thought it was like 2000. It's been over 20 years. Find a new goth Disney movie to hyperfixate on. I'm sorry. It's been 20 years. Over that. Wait, 1993. It's been almost 20. What? No. They haven't made another one? Well, they need to make another one so people can stop being annoying about Nightmare Before Christmas. Listen, if you like Nightmare Before Christmas, that's fine. I don't think it's a bad... Wait, 30 years? Oh, my God. No. No.
And also, they did make another one.
They did?
More.
What?
The Corpse Bride and Frankenweenie are the same contingency. They are technically sequels.
They weren't as iconic, though.
Yeah, but I mean...
This movie's 30 years old? This movie's got a 401k and everything. Holy fuck. That's so... Okay, we need to make another goth Disney movie. We need to... Like, it is very cute. It's the Disney Halloween movie. We need a new one. Okay, and here's the thing. If you like Nightmare Before Christmas, that's fine. Live your best life. If you look at these and you're like, okay, well, not these ones. These ones. And you're like, holy fuck, that's adorable. Good on you. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. It's not for me. And that's okay. Not everything needs to be for me. That's fine. I'm just kind of shocked that we're still making merch of it. Because here's the thing. I cannot talk any shit because I still lose my shit over Ratatouille. And Ratatouille came out in like 2009. Not me, older than the movie. Well, good for you. You know, you're probably doing better than the movie is. So, let me see. We saw those already. Oh... Okay. I take back everything I said. I want these. I don't care if Lilo and Stitch came out forever ago. Although we are getting the remake soon. I think these are adorable. I love Stitch so much. I love my greasy little gremlin alien boy. These are adorable. And look at the little flowers, and they got him having a sit. Okay, these are cute. These are cute. I would buy. I would buy. Okay, these are basic. These are basic as fuck. I still haven't watched The Mandalorian. My dad really wants me to watch The Mandalorian. I feel like there's so much more you can do with Grogu than just slap him on a fuzzy bow and some pastel. Like, there's little, like, accents, but you can hardly see them because the mint green washes it out so much. Yeah, no. Grogu deserved better. Where's the new ones? Okay, there's ones I'm looking for that I haven't found yet. So, let me see. TikTok, Disney, ears. Because I saw it on TikTok. No? Okay, fine. We'll do new Disney Orange Bird ears 2024. There we go. Etsy. They were official. I did find the official one. Like, these were on the official website. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Make it big. Make it big. Make it big. Where's open image? Open image. They're so cute. Look at him. He's in the little fucking pot. I know these are probably like $35, $45. I don't care. Put them on the fucking website. Let me buy them. I want the orange bird ears so fucking bad. They're so cute. They're so fucking cute. Oh yeah, that's the other thing about Epcot Flower and Garden Festival is they have like topiaries all over the place. Like they have like all kinds of like topiaries of the different characters and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, these are Loungefly exclusives, so they are going to be $45, which is mid, but I would still do it. But there's one. Hold on. Ratatouille Disney ears 2024. I love Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille so much. And then they come out with these. Look at these. Ah! The bow is cheese! I want... He's so fat! I love him! I love him so much. Look how chunky he is. And he's just eating. And he's just chilling. But he's eating. I love him. I love... He's so chubby. He's so cute. I just want to squeeze him. And the bow is cheese. And if you look at the back of them, where's the back? It's got here. These ears have ass. Okay, it's not just blank. They continued the pattern over. The ears are no longer assless. Okay. I want these so bad. I want these so fucking bad. I really do. But yeah, there's also the grad ears, stuff like that. But there's a lot of merch I want. There was also, where was the, oh my god, there was another Disney, like, food ear. Disney ears 2024 food theme. Because they did, like, a bunch of food theme ones. Let me see. It was the, oh my god, where was it? It was the churro ones. Disney ears. And I thought I was gonna hate them, but then I saw them and I think they're cute as fuck. Like, a lot of people don't like these. But like, where's the open image? Here we go. A lot of people do not like these. I think they're very cute. I miss when we didn't know Grogu's game, so we kept calling him Glupshido. Glep Brimble. I think we should go back to calling him Glupshido. I think that's good as hell, actually. Yeah, I don't get why people don't like these. I think these are really cute. I think they're creative. You know, they're trying to like do things for iconic Disney snacks. And I think this is cute. I like that they're all rolly. Now, you know what I personally think is mid? Okay, I think these are mid. I'm sorry, I think this is dumb as hell. These are supposed to be the Princess Leia themed ears. I'm sorry. This is stupid. Okay, I love Princess Leia. Do not get me wrong. But like, that's all we have? Swiss roll ears? This is not Princess Leia. That is Swiss roll ninja. She's literally in the chat right now. They made ears for you, girly. Just take away the fucking, this thing. Oh wait, that's not the official one. This thing, and like put her face on them. And these are literally Swiss roll ninja branded ears. And for that, it works. It's not Princess Leia. I'm sorry. Like, are we really just reducing an iconic female sci-fi hero to fucking cinnamon roll bullshit? That joke was like old and like fucking the 90s. I don't know. Like, we're over it. We're over it. Give me something else. Give me something else. This is stupid, okay? But these are good. That's good. So, that's my thoughts. I don't know. But yeah, that was another round of, should we look at more stuff on Shop Disney? Because I feel like we could, there was this one YouTuber I used to really like, and she used to do something called window shopping, where all it was literally just her going through different clothing stores and giving her opinion. And like, I feel, oh my god. Wait. I'm so glad I said something. Wait, holy fuck. Imagine, like, sitting in the cuck chair wearing these. I'm sorry. I love Crocs, okay? I fucking love Crocs. I'm a big fan of Crocs. I'm literally wearing my fucking Crocs right now, okay? That's the sound of me slapping my Crocs. They're, actually, do I still have my camera on? Hold up. I can show you what kind of Crocs I have. They're black. They're just very generic. Although, I do have a really, hold on. David!
What?
Bring me my pink Crocs!
No.
Because this is actually Disney related.
Nah, that's the line.
That's the line?
That's
You
the
won't
line.
fetch me my
I will not
Crocs.
fetch you your Crocs.
What if I bought you Wingstop?
If you want your Crocs, you will fetch them yourself.
Oh my god. David, do you want to come show your hands off while I go get the Crocs?
Not particularly.
Oh, well, can you be entertaining for like 1 minute?
Maybe.
Okay. Let me go get my fucking Crocs. Because, like, okay, my Crocs are also obnoxious, but, like, this is another level. Okay, hold on. I'm fetching my Crocs.
Fetch your Crocs.
You wouldn't fetch them for me.
I have self-respect. You can't find her Crocs, chat. She'll be back.
Oh my god, my dad is watching the stream! Oh no, he heard me say I was gonna fuck the popcorn bucket gun! Wait, okay. So I grabbed my phone off the charger, okay? And I'm reading my parents' text messages now. I can't show them to you because it is my whole ass dad's name. Let me see. Saw that on Twitter. Wingstop. That was in reference for me delaying stream so I could eat Wingstop. Lovely nails. We watching. Mom got you some ears. Thank you, Mom. I give you a. There we go. While the Mary Poppins music plays in the background. What did I say to prompt this? My dad said in quotation marks, your ethnicity is something to work in. Dad, what the fuck did you mean by that? And then he said, we love Crystal Palace. Thank you. Also, chat, say hello to my mom and dad. I don't know if you're still watching, mom and dad, but say hello. Also, shout out to Dad B for coming over tomorrow and fixing my taxes. But anyway, are you ready for the most obnoxious Crocs you've ever seen in your fucking life? Because, everyone has a guilty pleasure. These are mine. Soak it in! Soak it in! So, I remember my mom called me the other day. She was on vacation, and she said, we're at a Crocs store. Do you want new Crocs? And I was like, well, I already have a pair of Crocs. She's like, are you sure? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I mean, do you want like something a little more casual? And I was like, You know, that's probably a good idea because these are not very casual. I was expecting more hideous. Thank you? Question mark? What is that mouse pad? It's me and my big cheeks. Look, my big little chubby cheeks. You can beat the shit out of me. Also, my model broke. Hello? 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 Ah! She's broken. Bitch, wake up! Wake up! Go, wake up. Where'd she go? Hello? Hi, Steve. My model is broken. She just looks perpetually smug. Hold on, let me see if I can fix it. Because she just fucking died for some reason, I guess. Waiting for connection from Snart phone. I'm not aggressively poking EB in my own home. Why not? Why not? Bad Crocs need to jangle like cowboy boots when you walk. Holy shit. Also, what I'm doing right now, this is my iPhone right now. So I have like a camera up top. Hello. I'm pointing at you. Thank you, Cola. And then my camera's down here. Can I come back? Let me in. Let me in. Find server. Let me in. Evie model looks like she's about to give the most legit door knock ever. You fucking know it, bestie. Come on. Connect me. Let me see if my mom and dad responded. Are they still watching? Oh, they're still watching. There was a comment earlier. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna ask them. Do you want to say hi to chat? Because my dad has been asking me. Oh, I live! My dad has been asking me to do a stream. I'm gonna ask him. Do you want to say hi to chat? I can call you. Would you like to give words of wisdom? Honestly, my dad's words of wisdom, like 99% of the time, are just don't be a dick. And he's honestly not wrong about that. Let me go back to here, though. But these are probably... I don't know. Okay, honest answer, chat. Honest answer. Which Crocs are uglier? Okay, these or mine? I will not be offended if you say these. Okay, I won't be offended. I promise. You can say my Crocs are ugly. Okay, which ones? Mine or these? It's okay. This is a safe space. This is a safe space. Okay? This is a safe space. Okay? Avengers are worse? Thank you. Both? I expect that. That's the thing, is mine are like... It's got charm to it. You know? It's got spice. Wait, let me see yours again. Here, do we need like the side-by-side? Hold up. Let me see if I can like do this. Smack these bad boys back on the table. Where'd I put them? Do you want... I mean, I guess you need to have both because they're different. Oh, wait, hold on. Other side. Wait. Fuck, mirroring. Okay. Side by side. What do we think? What do we think? My dad says the Avengers Crocs are worse. And I'm down to agree with Dad B on that one. He is correct. See, that mine, like, if you take the gibbets off, they're not that bad. My sight, the Avengers are worse. My smell, I do not have bad smelling feet. I smell really good, okay? You don't know. I use the fucking, you know, the fucking Brazil, what is it? The fucking, the shoe corner stank. Shut up, Cola. I keep all my shoes in one spot, so I don't wear shoes in the house, okay? I keep them all in one spot, so I'm not fucking dragging garbage in over the house.
You know, the fact you're being so defensive about this kind of makes it seem like you're saying your feet are smelling.
I do not smell bad. I use the fucking, what is it? I use this shit. The fucking, where is it? This one. Not the... Wait, what? Hold on. I use this one. I smell like pistachio and salted caramel, okay? I like the... I do not use the Brazilian bum cream. That's not... That was... I just wanted to scroll down to see the other scent. So then you put that in my face. Then you... What is this? Is it? Oh, is it? Oh, this is a bad time! Oh, this is a bad time! No, not. much for the raid. Big shout out to you, man. I'm not shaving my butt. I don't shave my ass. Wait, are you supposed to shave your ass? No, no one told me that. If you are, like, should I start? No, so, okay, I can defend myself, okay? I was trying to prove to chat that I was not stinky, okay? And I was saying I smell like this, and I clicked on the page for that, okay? And I went to go look at the other scents, and there was fucking Brazilian butt cream. Why is the butt cream from Brazil? Why is it $50? What the fuck? Oh, wait, what? Oh. I don't think... What? Is capitalism winning? Because now there's like, do I need butt cream? Is that something people buy? Why do they look so happy? Me and the girls with our ass cream. Come on, Jessica, let's apply our ass cream to each other. Like, is that what people do? Is that what straight women do? Is that what I've been missing out on? Do straight women, like, rub each other's butts? Because then I would like to announce that I am straight now. Like, is that what it is? Oh, wait, what do you mean the spider cream? Wait, I do remember hearing about this on TikTok. Wasn't there a beauty product that like summoned wolf spiders? No! So are you saying if I put the butt cream on my ass, I'm gonna attract wolf spiders? No! I don't want wolf spiders in my butt! I don't want, wait, what? Hold on. Sol de Janeiro, wolf spiders. I'm sorry, what? We need to do just chatting streams more often, by the way. I don't think there's wolf spiders near you. Well, I don't even know what a wolf spider is.
Gaslight.
What? Select Start Steven, welcome to the stream. We're talking about wolf spiders coming from ass cream. Thank you for the follow. I need to know, wait, can anyone who's used the Sol de Janeiro wolf spider cream, please come forward with your results. Wait, what? Hold on. What does this one say? Friendly spider that eats nastier bugs. Oh, well, if they're friendly spiders, then it's fine. Listen. I think, I understand that spiders are important. Who is this woman? Get away from me. Get out of here. What? Okay, I'm not, wait, why is this Business Insider India? Hold on. Okay, let's find another one. The Florida Times. I don't know if that's much better. That's what you get for not having ad block. God damn it. I'm using a different browser so I don't dox myself, okay? So apparently, okay, Sephora sold out lotion accused of attracting wolf spiders. Are Florida shoppers at risk? Okay. Did you happen to get lotion in your Christmas stocking this year? Make sure it doesn't double as spider bait. Yeah, are the spiders gonna be in my ass? This is Firefox, by the way. Sold at Sephora for oh my god, what the fuck is that? Wolf spiders are large, hairy, and athletic. Oh, me too. I'm sorry. Arachnids that belong to the members of the family Lycosidae. Lycosidae. Sounds like Lysol. Typically, I have usually brown, gray, black, or tan with dark. Ew. Not for long if you start shaving the ass. Athletics, so you're saying we can't outrun you? Depends. Is that a wolf spider? I guess. Are you saying people on the internet would wait, what? Oh, here it is. Okay, let me drink some fucking water before we read this. I need to hydrate before I embark on this journey. Holy fuck. Okay. Scent attracts wolf spiders. If you're scared of wolf spiders, watch out for these lotions. I wanted to love them so bad, but one of the ingredients is like kryptonite to wolf spiders. When I put it on, one will come out. Normally I'll see one every 3 years. Used this and it was every day. I stopped using it and haven't seen one since. Oh, and one time, the spider wanted to eat whatever ingredient is so bad that it chased me. Here's the thing. What if it's actually really good butt cream? Like, what if it actually, like, tightens the shit out of your ass? is that like a risk you're willing to take for a tight ass? Being wolf spider bait? Like, no? No? I mean, it could be really good ass cream. It is good cream. Can I put the butt cream on my throne? I mean, I live in Maryland. There's not wolf spiders in Maryland, right?
We're not bringing the wolf spider butt cream into the apartment we share.
But David, my ass!
I'm vetoing the butt cream.
Oh my God, he doesn't let me do anything. What happened to feminism? Huh?
It stopped when wolf spiders started attacking people.
Well, you got it here, folks. David is an anti-feminist because he
my
won't
God.
let me buy butt cream to listen.
Okay, you deal with the wolf spiders then.
If it makes my ass fat, then like it's a risk I'm willing to take. Do we have wolf spiders in Maryland?
I think so.
Oh. He's anti-ass. Yep, you heard it here. David is anti-ass. What a hater. So, what's the next one say? Update 4 hours. I've seen 2 spiders at work. One came home at me, one didn't. I put some cream on a tissue to see if it would interest the spider. Will update soon. Update 10 hours. Spiders went to the tissue paper. I think they were attached to certain pheromones of the cream. How did we get here? David, tell EB she already has a fat enough ass so she doesn't need to get her ass eaten by... David!
What?
Is my ass already fat?
Yes, honey.
So I don't need the wolf spider cream to have a nice ass?
You don't need the wolf spider cream to have a nice ass.
Is my ass okay the way it is?
Your ass is perfect.
Yay! Hi, Steven! Sorry for the man follower. No, you're okay. I end up here from a few different streams. I really like your stream. Ah, thank you, Steven. That's really sweet of you. I'm sorry, you had to enter on wolf spider butt cream, but I'm glad you're here. But thank you so much, Gamer. That really means a lot to me. Can we get ass cream for David? Oh. I never thought of this possibility. I can't say on stream what I want to say, but that's okay. David, I'm coming for your ass.
No, you're not.
I don't care how many spiders I have to fight. I'm coming.
No.
So yeah, wolf spiders. Well, wait, are there still recent reviews? Hold on. Let's see. Okay, the best. Oh. Why'd you have to make the picture like that? No, I don't care what this company says. I get bug bites every time I wear it. I mean, most of them are pretty positive. It is expensive. I don't know if I can justify spending $50 on ass cream. Like, I don't know if that's for me. I'm gonna be honest. Just think of having a firm ass to grab. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm a big fan of ass. Big component. Big proponent of butt. But yeah, what if they bite my ass? Then it's like in the negatives. We're no longer net positive. We're net negative. Like, I could get a bigger ass, but if there's bug bites on my ass, then like that's the worst spot to have a bug bite. You stand outside during the summer? Yeah, I don't know. A lot of times with beauty products, as I've gotten older, for all the gamers that wear makeup in the chat, listen. You do not need, I'm telling you this, I'm de-influencing you, okay? We do not need everyone, actually, regardless of gender, regardless of sexual orientation, hold my hand, okay? I don't have any fucking hands, but pretend you're holding my hand. Okay, we are holding hands together. We're gonna sing Kumbaya, and look me in the fucking eye, okay? Look me in the fucking eye. We do not need ass cream. Our asses are perfect the way they are. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. Okay? All your butts are perfect the way they are. Amen. Let's go racing. I don't know, I'm just thinking of like T-ball, I don't fucking know. But yeah, anyway, back to Disney stuff, I guess. What were we talking about? Right. Right. These are the ugliest things I've ever seen in my fucking life. Sorry, I keep pausing. It's because I'm drinking water. A bitch is dehydrated. Okay. These are fucking disgusting. Oh. 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 So here's the thing. Evie, can I get that on a certificate that my ass is approved by Evie? Yes, I will make them. I will make them after stream, and I'll put them in the Discord. You can download them, put them on your fridge. I don't think these are that bad, but the 3D gibbets... The 3D gibbets got me kind of fucked up. They're also just very busy. They're very busy. Watch Space Dandy? I need to do that. Like, what? Yeah, these are gonna fall off. Like, these are fine, but this one's gonna fall off. Like, I don't think they're as ugly. I think there's a certain charm to them. Like, these are fine. These are disgusting. These are cute, but, like... Okay, this is disgusting. This is awful. I don't like this one. Why are we making them 3D? Why is it standing up like a fucking blemish on your foot? Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like them. I think... No. 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 Okay, the slides are kind of cute. Okay. New and what is new and trending on the Disney site? Okay, not that. Do people really still, like, simp over Loki? I thought that was, like, a Tumblr thing in, like, 2014. Are people still, like, super obsessed with Loki? Okay, this is cute, actually. This is cute. Bluey. I'm literally wearing a Bluey t-shirt right now. Like, I'm not fucking joking. I'm like, can I, like, show you my shirt without, like... You can see the little... I am wearing a fucking Bluey shirt right now. There you go. That's all you get. But I like Bluey. I think Bluey's very neat. Some of these bags are... I don't like that one. The Dooney and Burks are cute, but I don't like that one. I think the wolf spider ass killed me. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, my brain just like stopped working after all that. Every time I see your mouse pad, reminds me of Family Guy. No! She's cute. She has cute little cheeks. She's not Peter Griffin. Be nice to her. Be nice to her. Be nice to her. I think we might call it a night. Because my brain is like, I'm sorry, the wolf spiders fucking killed me. Like, I can't stop thinking about that. I'm like, I can't get back on task. I'm just... The wolf spiders! The wolf spiders! The gamers, thank you for this experience. I don't know what else to call it other than just that, an experience. Yeah, that, it surely, and you know what? Before we go, sniff his butt. Smell it. It smells like oranges. The Disney employee told me to sniff that ass. Sniff that ass. Your nails match the button of the Stream Deck thingy? Oh yeah, it kind of does. Ooh. But yeah, gamers, we are going to... I'm eepy. I'm so fucking eepy. I need to... It's time to go. It's time to stop. But thank you for the fun stream. I'm glad you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed listening to my autism. The autism today. That is... Stay up! Oh my god! Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Right there. Just stay right there. Okay, thank you. But thank you for coming. I hope you had fun. I think I just was shocked. I just couldn't fucking recover. So, we are going to go raid, Puds. Puds is a dear friend of mine. She drew port of me. It was pretty cool. She is playing... What is she playing? Voices of the Void. I don't know what the fuck that is. We're gonna do that, but maybe... Did I spell that right? Oh, I fucking hope I did. I don't know if I did, honestly. But we're gonna find out. And then we're gonna make our raid message wolf spider ass raid. Yay! And if you have, what is it? Wolf, spider. If you have emotes, we're gonna do this one. Let's do that one. And always the emote of me with a gun is good. And since in the spirit of this being kind of an IRL stream, you can use ones with my face on it. So, gamers, I will see you on Friday. What the fuck are we doing Friday? I forgot. Where's my schedule? Yeah, we're getting back to Cyberpunk on Friday. If you're new in town, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I have a TikTok, I have a Twitter, I got a Discord where I announce my streams and all that jazz, and I will be posting this VOD on YouTube. It let me post the last Disney VOD on YouTube, so I think we should be okay. I'm also writing a book, which I'm really far behind on, but I'm getting back to it. I'm almost done chapter 3. I'm almost done. But gamers, thank you for hanging out. Hope you had a good time, and I will catch you on the flip side. I was about to say bye, and then I burped. That's disgusting. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.